Fox 35 News in the morning. In just a few hours, an Orange County woman is set to reveal her plans to get sexual offenders out of her neighborhood.
Yeah, for weeks, Barbara Ferris has been fighting to get a school bus stop on Orange Blossom Trail in Orlando moved. It's just feet away from where nearly 100 sex offenders live. Now, she's had little success, and now she wants to open up a daycare near the bus stop. Now, by law, sex offenders cannot live within 1,000 feet of a daycare, but some legal experts say this plan might not work. Here to talk more about this is criminal defense lawyer Richard Hornsby. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Why might it not work?
Well, the primary thing I don't think she understands is that the law she keeps referring to only applies to people that were convicted of a sex offense after 2004. And truthfully, most people that were convicted of a sexual offense involving a child after 2004 are probably still in prison. So,
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So what you really have is a bunch of people that are probably convicted of sex offenses in the 80s, the 90s, who are just living very simple lives, and this is the only place that they could go where they could even get rented to, because even if they could find a place they could live, someone might not rent to them because of their status.
Now, as a mother, you have to applaud her efforts for trying to protect children there, but I also have to think at the same time, if she gets rid of these 91 offenders in her neighborhood, they're going to go to somebody else's neighborhood. Absolutely.
This problem isn't common just to Orlando. In Miami, as a matter of fact, a lot of communities have passed these laws where they've forced all the sex offenders underneath a bridge in Miami. And what law enforcement has said is if we go in there and we do a tent bust and we make everybody move out, well, we're not going to be able to supervise them. We're not going to know where they are, and they're going to become more of a danger to the community. And that's what could happen. Is while I appreciate her fears for her own children and for the children around her, if you force these people to move and disperse, they could go where law enforcement can't keep eyes on them.
Is it possible, though, that some of these sex offenders could file their own lawsuit if this happens? I mean, would that hold up in court?
Even if she can get the daycare started, what would happen is it's called a bill of attainder, and if you start passing laws or trying to do things to affect specific people to force them out, mostly what happens is they get grandfathered in, and it only really precludes people that come after the fact. And I think that that's the only people she would really prevent from moving there or living there are people that come after the fact that are getting out of prison.
Also, these 91 sex offenders, I'm assuming this is a pretty broad umbrella that we're talking about here, and maybe some of them aren't even people who'd be considered child predators.
Absolutely. That's the other thing. In Florida, you have sexual offenders and you have sexual predators. Sexual predators tend to be your pedophiles, your people that were preying on children that were under the age of 16. The other thing, too, is that even if the law were to apply, as she thinks it does, it only applies to those people who are convicted of sex offenses involving children. You have many people who are convicted of sex offenses that involve adults. You have date rape, so to speak, and things like that. Well, it wouldn't preclude them from living there, but they're still painted as a sex offender, and that's what, we don't understand. And something else that she might not have thought about is there are people that have been convicted of sexual offenses that have children. So where are they supposed to live with their children? And I've come across clients many times that either they're married to someone that was convicted of sexual offense or vice versa, but they have children and yet they've become pariahs in their own neighborhoods.
This is an interesting one to watch, and we'll be watching it, and I'll definitely have you back for some more perspective. Richard Hornsby, criminal defense lawyer, thanks so much.